The L. Douglas Wilder School honors excellence in Virginia government, sponsored by Dominion Energy, Altria, and Virginia Housing. Now your host, Jessica Knoll.
We're here on the VCU campus where the L. Douglas Wilder School of Government and Public Affairs is educating future public servants in 3 undergraduate programs and enhancing the skills of many current public and nonprofit professionals with their numerous graduate and certificate programs. As a nationally ranked top 40 school, the Wilder School is recognized not only in the Commonwealth, but nationally and internationally for its work. We got a chance to sit down with the school's dean, Dr. Susan Gooden, to learn more.
The L. Douglas Wilder School of Government and Public Affairs is a top-ranked, nationally premier School of Government and Public Affairs. So we're very excited to be ranked in the top 15% of all programs nationally. And we have programs in criminal justice, public administration, homeland security and emergency preparedness, urban and regional studies and planning, and we have a PhD program in public policy. So we have programs for over 1,000 students at the undergraduate and at the graduate levels. You mentioned our online MPA, which we're very excited about. We're admitting students to that in the fall. We still have the traditional MPA for those who want to enroll in person. But we have the online as well. Throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia, we have over 190,000 state employees, 150,000 federal employees located here in the Commonwealth, and having our program online provides just another avenue of education excellence for them as they continue in their careers in public service.
The school's namesake, Governor L. Douglas Wilder, remains an inspiration today. With his historic inauguration as Virginia's 66th governor, he became the first elected African American to be governor of any state. As a distinguished faculty member in the school that bears his name, the governor's days are filled with lecturing, writing, and media appearances. We're pleased to share his thoughts on the importance of public service. As an exceptionally effective state chief executive, Virginia was twice named Best Managed State by Financial Times. During your governorship, you certainly have a rich legacy here with the school. How does the Excellence in Virginia Government Awards reflect that legacy today?
I think the EVGA is a reflection of where we've been, where we are, and where we need to go. And we shouldn't be satisfied with where we are. We look to see how we can remove, encourage, replenish, refresh, and do whatever is necessary to make government be what it's intended to be, and that is for the people, period.
A hallmark of the VCU Wilder School is to recognize public service individuals and organizations, as well as their nonprofit and private sector partners, through the Excellence in Virginia Government Awards. Governor Wilder's leadership and public service were the inspiration for these awards, which recognize outstanding work at all levels in government and nonprofit work in Virginia. The first 2 Excellence in Virginia Government Award honorees are having tremendous impacts on their communities. In Danville, Police Chief Scott Booth is being recognized with the Innovation in Government Award for his commitment to community policing. The impact of COVID-19 on the Latino community was devastating at the start of the pandemic. Sacred Heart Center in Richmond is being recognized with the Community Enhancement Award for their life-saving work to reach this often overlooked community.
On a cold Sunday in February, the faithful file out of Sacred Heart Church in South Richmond after celebrating the afternoon Spanish Mass. Several take a detour just behind the church to Sacred Heart Center's Vaccination Clinic. When the pandemic first struck, the Latino community was devastated by COVID. It didn't take long for the leadership of Sacred Heart to realize they were facing a wide-scale crisis in their community.
We had, at that time, positivity rates of 50 to 60% when the general population was, I think at the max at that point, was maybe 12-15%. So that also was the deeper context that we were facing as we went into the vaccine rollout. And just knowing the mistrust and the fear that can exist around healthcare providers, we knew that we wanted to assist and support and could be part of the solution.
Working with longtime partner Bon Secours and the Richmond Health Department, Sacred Heart began educating families and offering vaccinations on site. By early 2022, more than 4,000 vaccines had been administered. This took a kind of trust that can only be built over years of faithful service.
Always we are trying to find the way to connect our community to different resources, and it's one of the most important things that we can do for our community at this time.
This successful vaccine outreach, most likely saving hundreds in the community from painful illness and even death, dovetails with the center's longtime mission in the community.
Have a good one. All right, have a good day. All right, have a good day. Have a good day.
The high fives are routine now, the lunches comfortable. That's because Lieutenant J.W. McLaughlin is now a welcome regular for the students at Park Avenue Elementary School, where Danville police frequently stop to participate in the Lunch Buddies program. Every month, officers and department civilians select a neighborhood and go door to door and, more importantly, face to face to meet citizens and listen to their concerns. These are just two examples of the Danville Police Department's commitment to community policing, a commitment that starts from the top.
So to me, community policing is really foundational to everything that goes on with reducing crime, with making a community better.
When he took the job in 2018, Chief Booth created the Community Leadership and Immersion Program to help new officers better understand the community and to help citizens better understand the police and their mission. It's all about creating relationships.
If you don't have a police department that's connected to the wants and need of the community, which you're there to protect and serve, then you're never going to be effective.
Community policing in Danville is working. Crime is down, and the reputations of Chief Booth and the Danville Police Department are on the rise.
He doesn't just sit behind the desk. He's out in the community, out talking with folks, and more importantly, listening to our citizens and really opening those lines of communication between the police and the community. And it's just been a huge, huge boost to our city.
And to top it all off, they're having a lot of fun in Danville, Virginia.
Inspiring work done by the Danville Police Department and Richmond's Sacred Heart Center. In addition to recognizing outstanding individuals and organizations, the Excellence in Virginia Government Awards also provides 2 scholarships for Wilder School students each year. The Wilder School's Assistant Dean of Student Services, Shawana Isom-Payne, explains.
Scholarships turn dreams into degrees. And that is an opportunity for really a transformational opportunity and experience for our students to be able to pursue their education without that financial burden or hardship, and making some tough decisions sometimes that students have to do on having a job, focusing on that job, and being able to really focus primarily on their studies, on their academic studies. And that scholarship provides those funds to free that up and create the opportunity to really pursue and go all in on their academics.
The L. Douglas Wilder School honors excellence in Virginia government, sponsored by Dominion Energy, Altria, and Virginia Housing.
Good government often involves public-private partnerships. In rural Grayson County, government leaders teamed up with the Appalachian Power and Gigabeam networks to bring high-speed internet to the community. They're being recognized with the Public-Private Partnership Award. The Unsung Hero Award recognizes a Virginian who has provided distinguished and exceptional service as a career government employee. This year's honoree has already marked 50 years of service at the DMV, and she has no plans to retire anytime soon.
If you have a registered vehicle, renewed a driver's license, or purchased a car in Virginia, you have likely been touched by Betty Matisse.
Do you have one out there that's already out there that works?
Right out of high school, Betty was looking for her first job in 1970 when her mother encouraged her to apply where she was working at Virginia's Department of Motor Vehicles. 51 years later, Betty is still there, applying her work ethic, intellect, and curiosity to the job every single day.
That was my philosophy, is learn everything I can and ask questions. If I didn't know how to do it, then okay, tell me how to do it, show me, and that's how I got up the line.
Around the DMV, her colleagues call her the Fixer. It's a name that has earned her profound respect. Still driving forward into her 70s, Betty says retirement for now is not on the table. Located in the majestic Blue Ridge, Grayson County is 446 miles of mountainous terrain that is home to just over 15,000 residents. Known for the New River, hundreds of acres of national forest, and Grayson Highlands State Park, it is an outdoor enthusiast's dream, a way to disconnect. But connecting to the internet has never been easy. When Grayson County leaders decided to make broadband a priority 5 years ago, more than half of the households and half of the fire and rescue stations here had no high-speed access.
The lack of internet was affecting all of the factors that we were trying to grow or to expand our economic development, our keeping our population, helping our population to become educated and to be connected with the rest of the world.
With the help of elected officials, consultants, and 2 key partners, Appalachian Power and Gigabeam Networks, Grayson County's Director of Technology, Carl Caldhill, worked to ensure internet availability.
The residents that are being connected now, they're excited because they've been wanting this for so long. But the future prospects of this, the economic impact, the businesses being able to do their work from home, there's just so many things that this project is going to enhance for people. It's unbelievable.
The success of this partnership is getting notice from neighboring West Virginia all the way to Hawaii.
So I think Virginia has become the model example for how this can be achieved in rural areas of America.
The Wilder School works hand in hand with policymakers, state and local governments, and nonprofits to provide faculty expertise, research, and public opinion polls to assist their work. Dean Gooden explains.
We have the Research Institute for Social Equity, RISE, that we're very excited about. The Research Institute completed a lot of studies last year. They were heavily involved in the vaccine allocation strategy in the Commonwealth of Virginia, making sure that that was distributed in an equitable way. And so we have an array of items that our researchers are focused on, all within the equity space. We did a language access study to make sure that our public services are accessible for individuals who do not speak English as a first language or are limited in their English proficiency. So all of those things are examples of the way that we have been moving the ball forward relative to equity in society for all.
The Wilder School salutes all who financially supported this year's Excellence in Virginia Government Awards, including Dominion Energy, Altria, Virginia Housing, KPMG, and Appalachian Power.
The Grace E. Harris Leadership Award is named for VCU's former provost and trailblazer, Dr. Grace Harris. This year's recipient is All Saints Catholic School in Richmond for their work in developing students' leadership skills, confidence, and integrity. Honoring an organization or individual who displays a sustained commitment to securing equal rights and justice for all people, the Hill Robinson Expansion of Freedom Award is named for 2 equal rights pioneers, Attorney Oliver Hill and Judge Spotswood Robinson. Receiving this award is the Robert Russa Modem Museum in Farmville for its ongoing efforts to promote dialogue and serve future generations as an education and policy center for the study of civil rights in education.
In 1951, Moton High School student Barbara Johns made a bold decision, one that would contribute to a historic change in American education. Moton was in Prince Edward County in the era of the doctrine of separate but equal. But nothing was equal for the county's black student population. Their school was overcrowded. There was no cafeteria or gym. There weren't enough books or adequate lab equipment. Barbara Johns knew this was wrong, so at 16 years old, she organized a student walkout at Robert Russa Moton School.
In many ways, it's the start of the civil rights movement. Right? This is pre-Rosa Parks. This is pre-Civil Rights Act. This is pre-Selma March. I mean, this is This is when we're really beginning to address, are we going to be a segregated society or an integrated society?
It all happened right here at what is now the Robert Russo Modem Museum in Farmville, a National Historic Landmark that tells a story of this spark to a revolution in access to equal education. The student protests caught the attention of Richmond's civil rights leaders Martin A. Martin, Oliver Hill, and Spotswood Robinson, who traveled to Prince Edward County. After seeing the shoddy conditions of the school, they quickly filed suit in federal district court, charging inequalities and discrimination in educational facilities, and boldly stating that school segregation was unconstitutional. Hill and Robinson's lawsuit was rolled into the landmark Supreme Court case we now know as Brown versus Board of Education. But Prince Edward County did not accept this decision. They began the infamous massive resistance to integration, ultimately closing all of the county's public schools in 1959. A private Prince Edward Academy was created for the county's 1,500 white students. But for black children like A.D. Chucky Reed, who was just 8 years old at the time, the school doors were locked shut.
As we be out on the street, you'll see the academy buses go by, and you see the kids waving at you, smiling, pointing, like they was making fun of you. You know, you don't have a school to go to, you know, and it really hurt.
In 1951, Martin Luther King Jr. is still in college. So all these quintessential civil rights era events have yet to happen.
Today, in partnership with nearby Longwood University, the Modem Museum works to not only tell the story of Prince Edward County and the leading role its citizens played in America's transition from segregation to integration, but also to promote dialogue and serve future generations as an education and policy center.
And I hope that Modem continues to really be a voice with the way in which individuals can become civically active and civically minded through their actions in their communities.
In 1960, he promised America.
Carmen Murph has been at All Saints for nearly 30 years. She's part of a small and dedicated group of teachers, administrators, and staff who provide nearly 200 students in pre-K through 8th grade a structured, holistic, diverse, and disciplined education. The results are irrefutable. 100% of All Saints alums graduate from high school, and nearly all go to college.
So applying themselves, being responsible, regardless of whatever role they take in life, let that role be a success, that they are an achiever. They can achieve. They will be successful.
This small educational gem is tucked into a Northside Richmond neighborhood. Some students come from the surrounding area, but All Saints welcomes students from throughout Greater Richmond in an effort to create a diverse student body of different religions, socioeconomic levels, and racial backgrounds.
The best thing that I like about All Saints is how here all the students put their differences aside, and everybody here just gets along and comes together as a family, and they come together as one.
All Saints' focus on developing students' leadership skills, confidence, and integrity would make the late Dr. Grace Harris proud. Dr. Harris's vision and leadership continues to inspire and influence an ever-growing number of people at VCU, in the Richmond community, and far beyond.
I've learned about leadership that it does take a good, responsible human being, that they should always know how to teach other people how to be better, even better than them if they can.
All Saints is planting the seeds of knowledge and leadership that will transform the future and the fortunes of generations of students.
Congratulations to All Saints Catholic School and the Robert Russo Modem Museum for your extraordinary accomplishments for education. The final honoree this evening recognizes a Virginian whose career represents the highest values of public service and citizenship, and who has made a substantial contribution to the good of the Commonwealth. For nearly 70 years, Florence Neal Cooper Smith has been working to educate the community and raise money to find a cure for the devastating disease of sickle cell anemia. Her unrelenting efforts have had a tremendous impact here in Virginia and across the country. The VCU Wilder School honors Florence Neal Cooper Smith with the Lifetime Achievement Award.
It was a single moment in 1942. 11-year-old Florence Neal's curiosity was piqued when she glanced at a medical book in her doctor's office.
And the first thing I saw was sickle cell anemia. I said, what in the world is that? And I think there were only 4 lines. It was sickle cell anemia. It was a blood disease. You were born with it. It was found in colored people. There was no cure.
That single moment for a young girl became Florence Neal Cooper Smith's lifelong passion to learn and teach about sickle cell disease and find a cure. Sickle cell is an inherited disease that affects an estimated 100,000 people in the United States, 90% of whom are African American. Armed with a degree in biology from Virginia Union and another in medical technology, Florence went to work in medical laboratories seeking answers and building her skill set. She got her chance to combine her medical knowledge and passion for sickle cell anemia when she joined a sickle cell research project at MCV run by Dr. Robert Scott. Florence went to work advocating for widespread testing, meeting with social clubs in neighborhoods and in schools. Then Dr. Scott wrote a controversial article for the Journal of the Medical Association, calling for more research. But Florence wasn't finished. She turned to her former classmate, L. Douglas Wilder, to change Virginia law, enabling insurance for treatment and requiring newborns to be tested for sickle cell disease.
I don't think without Florence's tenacity, there would not have been what we perceive as any successes in Virginia relative to sickle cell. What we did in Virginia then carried the message to other parts of the nation in terms of sickle cell awareness, particularly areas of the South.
VCU Health's research and sickle cell clinics are among the best in the nation, implementing aggressive, cutting-edge research to find a cure for this oftentimes painful disease.
We are developing new drugs for sickle cell disease in the School of Pharmacy. We are looking at clinical trials for the agents that are already in testing. And then once those agents are approved by the FDA, getting them into the hands of the patients who need them.
At age 90, Florence Neal Cooper Smith doesn't know if there will be a cure in her lifetime. But all who know her marvel at her intellect, her tenacity, and the effect her life's work has had on thousands of people.
Now, we're getting there. We're getting some wonderful drugs out, but it's not the cure. And I just want to see it. I believe it can happen.
We hope you've enjoyed getting to know more about the important work of the VCU L. Douglas Wilder School of Government and Public Affairs and their dedication to honoring excellence in Virginia government.
Thank you for watching the L. Douglas Wilder School Honors Excellence in Virginia Government, sponsored by Dominion Energy, Altria, and Virginia Housing.